Okay, you are live.
Hi there. Welcome to the October 27th meeting of the Mountain Arts Community Center Board. I'm Ryan Walker, and I'm going to go ahead and take a roll call for our meeting so we can see where we are. It's looking like we won't have enough members in attendance to make this a quorum. So
Kelly is actually coming in at this moment, so you
Okay.
may have enough.
Okay, thank you. So I will go ahead and start the roll call. So let me know if you're here. Angie Landrum.
Here.
Ellis Gardner, not here. Rob Inman is not here. Seth Graham, also not in attendance. He might pop in later if we're still meeting. Sally Halloran. I'll loop back
Here.
to. Oh, you're here? Okay, great. Thanks. And our new member, Susan Robinson.
I am present.
Yay, good. Glad you're here.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. All right. Also joining our meeting and our stream, we are grateful for Sam Guin for helping set this up for us. We also have Dick Graham from MACC, who does lots of hard work to keep the place running. And then I see Boyd is here around somewhere, Boyd Beal, and we're grateful for everything that Boyd does. So welcome everybody.
I'm here too.
Susanna.
Oh, Susanna, sorry, I didn't mean to ignore you, Susanna. Thank you. I am so absent-minded.
Don't worry.
Susanna Murdoch, our town council liaison, who is also essential at helping our lobe of information do its thing. So good, glad you're here, Susanna. I guess I'll continue on with the meeting. Our last meeting was a month ago, September 29th. Does anybody have any discussion about the minutes from last month? Any corrections? All right. Does anybody want to make a move to approve those minutes so we can make them official record? We do have a quorum, correct?
Motion to approve.
All right. Angie moves to approve. Do we have a second?
Allie will second it.
All right. Thank you, Sally. All right. So I'll take to take a vote. I'll call the roll for all those who approve. Angie Landrum.
Yes.
Let's see. And then Sally Halloran. Sally, yes. Susan, did you even get a copy of those minutes?
No, I will need to abstain. I didn't receive a copy.
Okay. I will vote to approve, but that only gives us 3 votes. So, looks like we'll have to reject that and wait till next time.
You should be fine on those. You just need a majority of those present for that.
Okay, that's good to know. Hey, thanks, Boyd. I'm really great at this. Well, in that case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 votes to approve the minutes from last meeting. Housekeeping stuff. Next up, I'm actually sticking to my agenda this time. Pat myself on the back.
Valuing sticks.
Let's get an update from things going on at the SNEPF. What's going on at the MACC, programming notes, needs, etc. So I understand you'd like to contribute some on that, Dick.
Yeah, be glad to. There's really been quite a lot happening in the last couple of months at the MACC. The symphony, Chattanooga Symphony, was here for recording of a wind quintet and the string quintet. And they use those. Normally they go out to the schools and do their live performances, but they can't do that this year. So we recorded those at the MACC, and they'll be sending that out to the schools to broadcast to their students rather than actually appearing in person, which isn't quite as good. They can't have interaction with the students, but at least they'll have the same music, and they each describe a little bit about their instruments and to let the kids get familiar with it. So we did those two. I think we did one in September and one in early October. And we're also having from the symphony on November 7th at the MACC a sensory concert. And this is for special needs kids who can't stand crowds and loud music and all the things that go along with that. And that's on November 7th at 10:30. We are limiting that in the theater to actually 40 people this time, and we've got seats blocked off for that. They're going to send us a seating list so ahead of time so that we'll know if there's a family of 4 that can sit together, we'll block seats for them. If we need single seats blocked off, we can do that. So it'll make it a little bit safer. And everybody, of course, will have to be wearing a mask the entire time they're in there. It'll only be about a 45-minute concert, and then everybody will be leaving. That's on a Saturday morning. So we think that's going to be safe to do. I know from our standpoint, having a special needs child, we're particularly careful with him, and I'm sure all these families are doing the same thing with their kids. We're also, last spring, we were within a week of actually doing 3 radio shows that we've been rehearsing, and then we had to cut that short. We tried in early September to get the group all back together and start again, but a couple of the plays have a rather large cast of 9 or 10 people, and everybody decided that it was just too much of a risk to get that many people back together again in close quarters doing the radio show. So we came up with one that has a cast of only 3, and another one that we were doing already has a cast of 4. So we're still working on those 2. Rather than live performances, they're going to be broadcast on WTC. And we've talked to them about it. They're very interested in getting programming like this on there. So if we're successful in getting these 2 on there, and they seem to be successful on WTC, we'll probably be doing some more of those. It does take, amazingly, it takes a lot of time to get these radio programs together. They're really as big a production as the play, the Playhouse doing a play there. We just don't have sets, and we don't have to memorize our lines, but getting the right tone in your voice and emphasis takes quite a while. So I doubt we could do more than 1 or 2 of these a quarter, if we get into the situation where WTC asks for some more. The Mountain Opry, you may know, did one weekend performance up here, and it was successful. 98% of the people had no problems wearing masks. We did have a few people that balked at it, and I actually had to stand on the stage and point at one lady several times, emphasizing that she needed to put her mask on, and she finally did, and she wore it through the whole evening. But it took a little effort to get her to do that. But having said that everything seemed to work successfully. Last week, we sort of came to a mutual agreement with the Mountain Opry. We were both thinking this at the same time. They beat us to the punch. They called us first, but we decided to stop the Mountain Opry performances for the winter and wait until March and see what the COVID situation is then. It's kind of dire predictions for the winter time. We wouldn't be able to have people outside if we had overflows, and it just seemed like a bit too risky. And some of the folks running the Mountain Opry had some people close to them that had come down with COVID, so I think that shook them up a little bit. And we had a situation here at the MACC where a student was diagnosed with COVID, tested positive, and we didn't find out for 2 weeks after that. And he probably was here at the MACC right before he tested positive. So we've sent out a letter to all parents telling them that if their child has anything like cold symptoms at all, they don't have to be bedridden, just any symptoms, sniffles, slight fever, anything, they're not to send them here, and they're to notify us right away. And especially if their child tests positive for COVID or has been exposed to someone who has it and ordered to quarantine by the health department, they have to notify us right away. I talked with Paul Hendricks down at the health department about it, of why we weren't notified, why we weren't on that contact list. And he did a heavy sigh and he said, we have people that refuse to give us any information. We have people that forget about some of their contacts, and we have others who just decide on their own that some contacts aren't serious enough or consequential enough to mention to us. So he said, I don't know what happened with you all, but he said, I'm going to look into it. And if you were on the contact list and did not get contacted, he said, I'll find out why and what happened there, and we won't let that happen again. So hopefully those efforts will keep us informed of anybody here who might possibly have brought it to the MACC at some point. Let's see what else. Room 3 is still undergoing renovation. We really about the only thing we have left to do in there is carpet. And it ultimately, we have hoped that it would become a sort of visitor center and sales point for local artists. That's until we are allowed to have people back in or can get people back in, there's no point in doing that. So in the meantime, we had a lady come to us from here on the mountain. Her first name is Liz. I've forgotten her last name right now, but she's a physical therapist and she wants to start doing some classes for the elderly population up here. Her first one would be fall prevention classes, and she would hope that would work into some actual exercise classes, somewhat like Silver Sneakers does, that type thing. And so we're hoping that's going to move along. I think she may be waiting until after the first of the year to start that, or maybe sometime after Thanksgiving, somewhere in that time frame. Room 15, the old ballet room, which I'm sitting in right now, we've taken the floor out. We had some volunteers, Ryan being one, spent his Sunday afternoon over here busting up the old tile off the floor. we've gotten all that cleaned out. We've got new baseboards in, painted, and we have a new flooring that will be going down in here this week. And it's going to be an exercise room. We had 2 ladies from here on the mountain come to us, and they are doing this kind of thing other places, but they want to start it here at the MACC, doing exercise classes. And if any of you are interested, they have a class at 5:45 in the morning. So jump on that, get on over here. Oh, I saw Sam. Sam, you're interested in that one, I know. You could get Boyd to get in on this. You two could come.
Not sure my alarm clock has a 5:45.
So
who gets to open for that?
they'll have a key and come in the back door. So
They'll take care of themselves. Good.
yeah, we let them know right away. No one will be here letting them in for those. So we hope that's going to do well. And they're renting the room exclusive. So we've got several spaces like that now that are rented exclusively by someone. So that really makes it pretty easy on us. We have that guaranteed income from that. The other room that we also have rented is what was the principal's office, and we have a fella in there who works for TVA, and he's having to work from home, and he's finding that's not working really great for him right now. He's an electrical engineer, so he needed a quiet place so that he could work and concentrate. So he's rented the principal's office. And he'll probably be there through January. He says TVA may be relocating him down to Browns Ferry at that time. So, but at least through January. Let's see. Ballet room principal. Oh, we have 2 new art teachers, Betsy McLean, who teaches art over at the high school, and Sarah Coolidge. And we took room number 5, which was the gallery. No point in having a gallery right now, no one coming into the building. So we took that room and converted it into an art room. And Betsy McLean and Sarah Coolidge are both having classes in there. Betsy McLean is there 2 days a week, and Sarah Coolidge is there 2 days a week. And have had pretty good success attracting students. Betsy McLean's class particularly, she probably could have added another class to it. So she's taken names for another session that she'll probably do after Christmas. And another course like that, which is sort of out of the music lesson stream, is a computer class, Minecraft. I really have no idea what Minecraft is, but it seems to be really popular with all the young kids and very instructive, and I don't know, all those things. It's good for them. So that class too has an overflow. She was going to be here 1 day a week. Now she's here 2, and she's taking names for another session to start after Christmas also. So really a lot of good successful things we hope happening here. And we've had a lot of good comments from people coming in. And one of the weirdest comments we've had, several people have come in and said the building smells better now. So, and I think that's partly because we got rid of the groundhogs under the building. They were quite smelly creatures, so we got rid of them, and taking out the lay-in ceilings. This building is so humid that those lay-in ceilings just soak up water and mildew and everything. So we've gotten rid of a lot of those. So, but a lot of good comments. People like what's happening. They're excited about it being open. They wish it was open more, but and parents have been, for the most part, really good about adhering to the requirements of the kids wearing masks. We've had a couple of them that balked at that, but they got over it. And parents are good about not following their kids into the classroom and loitering in the halls. On the good days, they're outside in the parking lot area and the grassy areas and talking, and looks like they're having a good time out there. talking with each other. So
Hey,
that's-
Dick, is the HVAC in like throughout the building
oh,
now?
yeah, that's right. That's the other thing I want to talk about. We have it in the office, the workroom, and room 2. It is halfway in, or 75% in room 2, the men's room, and the principal's office. Right now, what they're held up on is the mounting brackets that they have to mount the condenser on the wall outside. And those are back ordered. He's hoping they'll be in this week and they can get that thing put up. Then the next one that we're in priority of what we want done is the room I'm sitting in, the new exercise room, the men's room next to it, and room 12 next to the men's room. Get that one, then drop back and get room 4 and 5. The Lions Club raffled off a split system at their Labor Day picnic, and the person that won it donated it back to the Lions Club for them to give to somebody, and they chose to give it to us. So that will take care of room 6. And then we have room 8, and the ladies' room will be put on a unit. So that's kind of our priority list right there of how we're going. And the big problem right now that Superior's having is getting equipment. Mitsubishi they're just, the whole supply chain has just fallen apart during the COVID stuff. So they have equipment back order, and it's not just here, it's residential clients they've got. He said he's got like 4 systems that he needs to put in some homes here on the mountain, and he just can't get equipment. So that may take a little time, but if we get down to the winter time and we don't have heat in all the rooms, it won't be much different than any other winter here when with the boiler, we only had heat in some rooms anyway. So we have portable heaters we can drag around and get the rooms warm enough to use.
I'm going to interrupt you real quickly. Susan, I know you have to go catch another meeting, so feel free to drop out when you need to.
All right, I will. I'm sorry I have to leave. I serve
that's
on
fine.
the board, and these things got double booked, so I'm sorry. I'll do better.
We will let you know what we figure out for our next meeting time.
Perfect.
And we'll be in touch. So
All right, thank you.
just want to thank you for being here.
Did you have any questions for us, Susan, or anything in particular you wanted to know about?
Yeah, but I'm not going to take up the time here. I'll just call someone directly, just to get more information about the board and our procedures and insurance and budgets and, all of that stuff, too much here. We'll just have a little orientation or whatever that someone can give me. So perhaps.
Well, we're here at the MACC every day. So just give us a call when you get some free time, and we'd be glad to tour you through the whole building.
Thank you, Dick. Thank you.
Yep. Great, thank you.
I wanted to give this kind of it does relate to the MACC. I wanted to give a thank you to the town employees that came out here and tore down that classroom, that portable classroom. They really got on it, got it out of there, and much better that it's gone. And also to the guys who do the lawn care, all the mowing and trimming. They come here and they don't just blaze through and move on. They really take the care to get things done right and get things cleaned up. And it makes a difference, I think, to the people coming into the building to see a nice, neat landscaped area. So just a little attaboy to the town employees for what they've been doing. And I think too, that's helped because we have families that show up in the afternoon sometimes and go up and play basketball in that upper area there. And we have people that stop by and ride their bikes. They bring their kids' tricycles and ride their bikes and all that. So it's kind of a park-like area around the building, and it's really good to see them using that. So, and occasionally they come in and say, hey, what goes on here? So maybe we'll get some students coming in too.
Yeah.
I've had requests for more of picnic tables, so that's something that we'll have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good though. But I'm glad people are feeling comfortable being on this town property.
Yeah.
It's neat to see people use the lawn. There's a kid right across the street from the MACC who practices lacrosse there on that big flat area on the lawn. And there's another guy who throws the ball for his dog when he's out walking in. So that's really cool to see it's being used. So that's nice.
That's all I had.
Well, so the SMEPF, you guys do a lot with a little. Keeping the building consistently improving and making all, seeing that all this programming happens and making that possible, and taking care of all the details. That's a lot of work. That will segue into the next item on the agenda. Before I make that jump, does anybody else have any questions for Dick? Does anybody have any questions about the recent programming or building updates before I move on?
I have a couple things for you guys to be thinking about. We have
Okay.
two groups have offered to work on a project for us. The Lions Club is interested in doing some sort of project around on the MACC property. So one idea we're planning on building a pavilion out where the pollinator garden is. So we have a performance stage outside basically. So that's one idea that maybe they could do. But if you guys think of anything else project wise, they're looking for something. And I also just had a Boy Scout who happens to be a young lady contact me. She's looking for an Eagle Scout project and she doesn't have any ideas. She was asking if we had ideas of anything we needed at the MACC. And I told her we just had an Eagle Scout work on the trail behind the building. So I'm trying to think of something that she could do. So if you guys just think about that.
The Lions Club, that reminded me that in case you didn't know, the Lions Club is back meeting at the MACC. They're not having their dinners in the cafeteria. They're meeting in the auditorium, and they generally have 25 people or so show up. And they've been back for about a month. I got a call from them. They've been meeting, I think, behind the country club at the pavilion there. But they said it's beginning to get dark earlier and it's beginning to get colder faster. So they need an indoor space. So they're back and they're happy to be here. And I hope they can somehow participate in some project here, maybe the outdoor building.
Did the garden club finish doing their pollinator garden outside or?
It's full of plants. I think they're coming back to mulch it, but yeah, it's all planted. It doesn't look like much right now. They're all
maybe is there something that the Eagle Scout could do to maybe like build a fence around it or do something to beautify, or maybe some kind of fencing around the property anywhere outside?
We have talked about installing a fence like just along the Kentucky Avenue road. Just to keep kids and balls from going into the street if they're playing on that lawn. So that's a good idea.
Yeah, those seems like fencing and trails and walkways and things like that always end up being really beneficial Eagle Scout projects that are outside and that, kind of beautify the space. And then don't they kind of raise the money or the resources to buy the materials and so kind of execute the whole plan?
Yeah, that's part of it. We've also talked about putting in a playground. That's a big, expensive thing to do. I don't know that they do anything that huge, but I thought about
Mhm.
dividing that project into maybe she could be in charge of doing the border and the mulch, the special playground mulch for the area.
That'd
And
be nice.
we help buy the equipment, something like that. So,
Or maybe like mulching around the building outside too. I don't know.
mhm.
I don't know if that'd be like
There's
extensive
there's a
enough.
lot of room for mulching, and the town has lots of mulch, so that might be an
Yeah.
interesting option.
That- I mean, it might really make it look pretty in the back.
Yeah. That would look good. Seems like a good list.
Yeah.
I think the grounds are a good place to direct a lot of attention right now, while our use of the inside of the building is a little more limited for the next year, probably. It's a good time to focus on the outdoors.
Hmm. And I mean, I've got experience like building raised beds, for community gardens.
Oh, that was the other thing. Yeah. The
Yeah.
community garden beds, that would be a great project.
And you can just build them with, like 2x4s and you don't even have to dig up the ground. You put cardboard boxes on the ground and then put mulch and then dirt on top of the mulch,
Right.
and sort of build your box. It might be kind of neat to have a couple of those
Mhm.
somewhere.
Yeah, and she could talk to the town about getting the ground scraped and leveled.
Hmm.
Right, Boyd? Look, he's not listening to me. There you are.
I'm listening.
I've got a whole Boy Scout troop ready, like project for the whole Boy Scout troop.
Sounds fun.
All right. We'll
That
send
sounds
her
good.
over there.
I think that's a good start. So you guys haven't done a walk around. You don't spend much time. I mean, I think most of us will spend time walking around MACC, but it's good to walk around it, and especially this time of year when the weather's really pleasant, and just sort of feel the space and see what can inspire you when you spend some time there. Maybe we'll get some good ideas. It's a good start. Okay, anything else before we continue on? I would like to just discuss the role of the MACC board. We've spent the last better portion of this last year with, I guess the last half of the year with SMEPF taking control of the operations of the building, the programming, and so it's I feel like it's depending on what agreement continues after the end of this year. That I know that your agreement with the town that goes until July. Is that correct?
Yeah, June 30th.
June 30th. So seems to be working well so far. So I think it'd be good for the board to discuss how this board can fulfill its role better. Making up the agendas and trying to think about what we need to discuss. It's not very creative right now. We invested a lot of time before this transition, planning, a 5-year plan and trying to figure out how to move forward. A lot of our issues have been sort of almost instantly addressed. The needs are just kind of different now. So I'd like to see sort of, I'm wondering if we should start a process of sort of revisioning what this board needs to do in the upcoming year to serve MAC and serve the town better and more effectively, so that we can all actually do something. So we'll get more into that. I'd like to focus more on that, beginning with the next meeting and continuing into the next year. But I'd like everyone to really sort of think about how we can do this discussion, how we can be a more effective, helpful board, given the way that we're operating right now. Yes.
If you don't mind, I think, I just want to reiterate there may be two different areas of benefit for the board, and I understand what you're saying now in how the role of this board could benefit the operation of the MACC and SMEPF as you have in the past. But I just want to make sure everybody understands that I think it's extremely important that this body continues to do what you just did and get updates on how things are going and stay connected with how the operations of MACC are progressing and all of that, because in just a few months, the town's going to be faced as SMEPF of making a decision about whether this becomes a longer term scenario, and having folks that have intimate knowledge of MACC as it was and MACC as it is going to be invaluable. And that's why I think it's important that the role of this board certainly has changed, but it has become no less important.
Right. Well, that's the kind of I feel like, with your position, Boyd, with the with the town, you can answer better to what the town needs out of this advisory board. So that's exactly the kind of feedback that we need to incorporate and to keep in mind.
Yeah, I want to encourage everyone to keep in touch and keep involved and come over and volunteer, give advice and ask questions and, stay involved, because it's still important. We need people involved. It's a community center and we need input from as many people as possible to make it successful. So I want everybody to stay interested.
You're also working straight simply with volunteers right now. So that's a pretty good argument for being involved. It's the fact that that's what we need to keep this programming going. So yeah, didn't want to take too deep a dive into that, but if we can find ways to do what we do better, to definitely the flow of information, providing updates from the MACC to the community, since this is a public meeting, there's definitely an importance there. MACC is a community amenity, so it's important for us to be able to show the community what we've got going on. And if we can be more helpful, we'll find ways of doing that. I am curious if we need to, is it effective? Is it agreeable to keep having board meetings every month, or should we look at changing the schedule to every other month? Does anybody have any feedback? And again, I'm not suggesting making any decisions at this point. This is just we're looking ahead, but simply for discussion, does anybody have any opinions on changing the frequency in which we do this meeting?
Normally in the past, I think they've always skipped December meetings anyway. because everybody's busy for the holidays.
Right.
If we wanted to go ahead and meet one more time next month and then be done till end of January.
Definitely recommend, I definitely recommend sticking to that. We'll do one more meeting next month. We need to work on scheduling that since that still falls within a holiday week. So we'll decide when that's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
But if no one has any issues with meeting, just for keeping the board schedule the same, then great, we'll do what we do. But I'm just trying to put things out there so we have things to think about to see if we need to do anything differently or better. It's kind of year-end review, I suppose. We have board vacancies upcoming for the new year. Sally has been gracious enough to serve a term for us, and I am very grateful for Sally's insight and help. And so Sally will be leaving at the end of the year, the end of her term. So that will be a vacancy opening up. And I actually can't remember if we have any other regular spots coming available for next year, but
I have that pulled up, Sally and Ellis Gardner.
and Ellis, okay, well,
And in the next few weeks, I'll be sending out letters to everybody who has expiring terms and asking whether they wish to be reappointed. And we'll be advertising for board positions. We advertise for all the boards regardless, because reappointment isn't necessarily guaranteed. So those letters will go out, and we'll start advertising for the boards fairly early next month.
all right, that's helpful. Thank you, Boyd. So another chance to sort of review the people you know in your in the neighborhood and in your circles. If you know anybody who's interested in the MACC and arts and you know, and just being involved here on the mountain. If you know anybody, this would be a good time to nudge them in the direction of visiting the town's website and filling out an application so that the town council has a nice selection of applicants from which to choose. I will mention that the application that's listed on the town website, I don't know if it's the application that's in print or not, but it does have our regular meeting times listed for the wrong day of the week. But that is minor. Anyway, so if you know anyone who would be helpful, would like to get involved, yeah, send them, convince them, or encourage them to fill out an application if they're so motivated. All right, well, that's helpful discussion. We should, for nitty-gritty business, we should discuss our next meeting time. So ordinarily meetings are, of course, the very last Tuesday of the month. In November, that happens to be 2 days before Thanksgiving. So I don't know if you've all looked at your calendars, if you think that you'll be traveling, if you think this will be a problem. Do you want to change that, or do you want to tentatively leave it on Tuesday the 24th? And we'll see if we can all get together.
I'd prefer to change it.
Okay.
I mean, that's just my preference.
That's the kind of input we need. I think that's probably pretty smart, since it's just, 2 days before Thanksgiving is a little crazy for families. We could, we could either bump it earlier in November, or since we're not doing a December meeting at the regular time, we could bump the meeting a week outward and do like the first Tuesday of December, which is December 1st. Now, that would put our meeting after Thanksgiving, and potentially after holiday travel, if any of you are out there braving travel.
I like December 1.
December 1st is good with me.
So we obviously don't have everybody here to provide input. So let's tentatively start with setting our meeting at December 1st. This will be our final meeting for the year. And I'll type up an email and see if anybody who was not here to join us has a reason for us to change that to a different weekend. So tentatively, we'll say Tuesday, the 1st of December. We'll stay with 3 o'clock for now.
Okay.
Just gonna put that on the books. Okay, sounds good. Is the for those of you representing MACC, does MACC have any social distancing holiday programming? Dick or Angie?
We'll be closed Thanksgiving. And
Are we decorating the tree?
we haven't even talked about Christmas yet. You're getting way ahead of us. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. We haven't really talked about tree lighting. I mean, that's a wonderful tradition. You know, we could try to do something that's all outside. We did that one year when the building was closed partially.
Even though it's outdoors, is that too many people? I mean, for one thing, it's late for planning an event like that.
Yeah.
But that's still a lot of people. Even with outside, it's still a lot of people. So
Yeah.
I guess it's
This is just
feel
an
like we-
additional year, so I
yeah.
don't think anyone expects things to be the same
Right.
as normal.
I will push for tree lighting in the future for this year.
Not so much.
Yeah, if you skip it, that's fine. I think that's just tricky. So,
Mhm.
but hopefully we'll see at least a decorated tree or something. Especially considering that we've got a new Christmas tree out front. So
Yeah.
that'd be nice. Well, okay. Thanks for your input and your help, guys. And we'll wrap this up. Are there any other comments or questions or feedback before we adjourn the meeting?
I'd like to just make one appeal for volunteers. We do need some volunteers down here, and not just paint and scrape doors and haul stuff and do that kind of manual labor, but one of the big chores during the day here every day is checking the people in. It's not like it used to be where the student just walks in and goes to class and that's it. We have to check each person in, the COVID form, the temperature, all of that. And it may not seem like much when you're just getting a few kids in every half hour, but we have times during the day where the normal music class kids are coming in, and then we have a ballet class of 8 kids. We have an art class of 10 kids. We have a computer class of 8 kids. And then on nights like tonight, we add in the Lions Club showing up. and they're all converging on us within about an hour and a half. So, you know, help some volunteers who are responsible enough to make sure everybody's adhering to the rules and not letting people slip by. You know, we can use people like that. So if anybody else is listening out there, I don't know how many people might be watching this out in the community, but if they are and feel like they might have something to contribute by volunteering, just give us a call and we'd be glad to talk to them.
Yeah, Dick and Cheryl pretty much live at MACC. We should furnish them with an apartment because they spend lots of time.
Yeah, it's open from about 9 in the morning till 8 at night most nights. So some long days.
Yeah. So yeah, if we can lighten their load, if you know of anybody who again wants to be helpful and involved, especially since a lot of people are spending more time at home. If you need to get out and aren't, you know, obviously not everybody can do this because you are, even though we're all wearing masks, you're still interacting with people. But anybody is able to do that, that's a big need.
Oh, one other thing we're trying, and I think Angie is doing a little bit more on this, is the building is not every day, but most mornings the building doesn't have a lot of people in it. It's because the kids start coming in after school. But there are a lot of homeschoolers out there now. So if any homeschool parents are listening and have any ideas about how homeschools parents might take advantage of classes here. I know we've talked to some of the music instructors and they say they, you know, could possibly be interested in doing some morning music classes if there are some kids who want that. So traditionally it's just been after school is let out starting around 2 o'clock, but you know, we have a building sitting here and we may have teachers who are willing to come in and have classes.
I do know that in my time last year, sitting at the Chattanooga Choo Choo doing woodworking, there was frequent feedback from people with homeschoolers who are fairly desperate for kind of creating, building, creating, crafting projects for homeschoolers. There's a lot of, I think there's a lot of demand for that.
And there are a lot of homeschool parents now who didn't intend to be homeschool parents who really are. So.
You need a break. Yeah.
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 Hey, I got to jump off, y'all.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see you later.
I just wanted to
Thank
mention
you.
I'm sorry, Susanna. I just wanted to mention real quick, tomorrow is technically the last day that we're authorized to meet electronically. As of now, we anticipate that very well might change. But unless something's happened that I'm unaware of, that direction hasn't come out yet. So just wanted to let you guys know. We'll try to, well, won't be any trying. We will definitely let you know as soon as we know what going forward is going to look like. But I anticipate it's probably going to get extended.
Right.
So y'all will know as soon as we do, I promise.
Okay. Thanks, Sam. So we'll either, our next meeting will either be same thing. That's approved. Otherwise, if we have to have a meeting in person, I would definitely recommend using the auditorium at MACC so that we can spread out if that sounds agreeable. So we'll know more about that at the beginning of the month. So thank you for clarifying that. All right, does that cover everything?
I think so.
All right, well, eat plenty of candy if you can, and have a nice month until we see you guys again at the beginning of December. So it's about 4 o'clock. Thanks for your time. Meeting adjourned.